Hi, this is romance author Margaret Kay, one of the three sisters of Sisters Romance. Welcome to the first episode of Behind the Books. Today we're going to start where the series began with book number 1, Operation Protected Angel. The story came to me from Angel's point of view, and actually the first scene that really I envisioned and thought about and detailed out was the scene where she was in the kitchen the day after the event center assault, and she was kind of being interrogated and she wanted to leave. She didn't know who they were. She didn't understand why she wasn't in a hospital. She was injured. I knew that I did not want to tell the story of what happened to her from the beginning, but I wanted it to come out with what happened while she was talking to the men. So that was the first scene that came to me. And then I was driving to work and the Rolling Stones song Paint It Black came on. And I envisioned the helicopter coming into the rooftop of the hospital to the very opening music of that song. And then when it switches tempo, that was the boots that were, going down the stairs, all four men's boots, the sound of them echoing through the stairwell. I can't play that song for you because there's a copyright issue. Even if I was to give credit and play a few bars, I could get in trouble. So if you don't know the song, look it up and listen to it and listen to the very beginning portion for the helicopter. And then as soon as it changes tempo, you'll know what I'm talking about. And doesn't that just really play to the book as far as the boots tromping down the stairs? So, anyways, that was how it first started. I don't usually write a book in order. Different scenes to me, different conversations, different things play out in my mind in different order. I put them kind of in the order I think they're going to be, and I, fit it together later on. So that's kind of how I write. The other thing that I knew I wanted to do in this book, because it was not the way most of these kind of books go, is I knew I wanted to have the Dr. Lassiter character. I knew that there had to be some sort of mental health aspect of somebody checking in after the missions, or in her case, after everything that happened to her. She couldn't just go on and, okay, it's over. Love you, Jackson. Let's get married. That would not happen. So I knew that I needed the Dr. Lassiter character, and I really did a lot of research to build his character. Um, so that's really kind of how it started. Now let me back up even further with trying to name this series. So here's an interesting tidbit for you. So I was really at odds of what to name the series. I wanted to make sure there's no other series out there that are named the same thing. So I ran them all my possible choices through Amazon just to make sure there was no series by that name. And I still had no idea what I was going to name Shepherd. And I just wrestled with it for months while I was writing the book. And then my dog comes over and he noses me. He wanted to go out. So I look over at my baby, Mocha. Here's a picture of him. And it came to me. He was a German Shepherd mix, Shepherd Security. So that's where that came from. So now let me tell you how this book almost wasn't the way it is. So I was part of a Facebook group of authors that gently critiqued, gave encouragement to each other. And the moderator would offer the author that when they published a new book, if they were in Kindle Unlimited, that the group would then exchange books. So basically, if you offered up a book, somebody would be matched up with you to take your book, and you would take somebody else's that has been recently published in Kindle Unlimited, and you would read the book and give constructive criticism. You promised to leave at least a 3-star review of what you liked, and then you'd provide a Word document or email feedback with what you did not or what you thought could be improved. And it was not to be dishonest that everybody would get a 3-star review, because if you didn't feel you could give a 3-star review, if there were serious issues, then you wouldn't. Or you'd say, this is the best I can do, will you accept it? So I eagerly put my book up just, a few days after I'd hit publish. And I was very excited to get it out there. I took in another author's book, did my reading, gave my review on Amazon, gave them constructive feedback. All is good in life. Well, then I get contacted by the moderator. Yeah, life's no longer good. So the moderator contacts me and says that whoever it was that took my book could not give me even a 2-star review because they had so many issues with my book. Oh my gosh, it was like a knife through my heart. I could not believe it. To make it even worse, whoever read my book. Now, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was male, female, what their normal genre is they write in. I know nothing about this person. I'm going to call this person a her just because the majority of people in this Facebook group were female. It just makes it easier. I'm going to assume that she, who took my book, wrote a totally different genre, read a totally different genre. So I get in a Word document, single spaced, the entire page full of what this person hated about my book, about Operation Protected Angel. The list was just too numerous to mention. However, when I started reading it, the first thing they hated was the order of the book, that it started where it did and then went back and forth. And this person's feedback was that readers wouldn't be able to follow that it would be too confusing. Just write it in a straight linear order. The second piece of feedback this person gave to me was that my 4 main characters, Jackson, Cooper, Doc, and Razor, that they were all way too close and similar in their personalities, and that I needed to do something to distinguish them from each other. Maybe give one a limp, give one a tick, give one a speech impediment, a limp, something of that nature, something to distinguish them. So that was the first 3 worst comments. Oh, I was beside myself. I had also just launched my first advertising campaign on Amazon. I'll get back to that in a moment. So I took a day just to let it sit because truly I was devastated by this. And then I broke down one by one every piece of criticism that this person gave to me. The first one, after I read it again, I thought, wow, this person is really insulting the reader's intelligence, that they wouldn't be able to follow a storyline that was hopping around a little bit. And I just thought that was horrible. It's like, no, people certainly can follow that. And that was the order that I wanted to tell the story in. And that's what was important. It was my story. So then I came to the feedback on the 4 men and them being too closely or too similar. So I really thought about that one. And what came to me is that even when my husband was in the Navy and he was assigned to a shop, my husband was an AO, which is an air crew ordnanceman, and he was assigned to P3s, which were sub hunters, aircraft. In his shop, the men that did the same job as him, we were friends with many of them. And I've got to tell you, they were all very similar. They did the same job. They talked the same. They'd had all the same training. They were cut from the same cloth at that point. And I knew that was pretty much the way that it was with a lot of different professions, as well as the military and different jobs within the military. It just stands to reason that the people that you spend your time with and you have the exact same training, do the same job, that you're all going to be pretty similar in some ways. I thought that I had put enough in there to make them unique personalities. I purposely made Doc grumpy. I think he was definitely grumpy compared to, say, the other 3 men, especially Jackson. Garcia, he, was the sneaky, just kind of digging in the computer. He was a much different personality than Cooper, who was clearly in charge. So that particular feedback I tossed aside as well. The next feedback this person gave me was that my writing was all wrong, that I was hopping heads, that I was telling the story from both Angel and Jackson's point of view as far as what they were feeling and thinking, and that you stick with one. You can't do that. Okay, well, maybe in this person's genre and her genre, the critiquer, maybe in their genre you don't, but in the military romance field, I've seen it done quite a few times, and I've seen it done successfully. I certainly can follow it. And besides, it's my book, and that's how I'm seeing the story. That's how I want to portray it. So I discarded that one as well. I just I just didn't see what this person was seeing. I didn't see anything that was severe enough that I should unpublish the book, fix everything, and then republish it, making it a very different book, as this person was telling me that they thought I should. So that was really my first exposure to having to really think about feedback that I'm being given to evaluate if that person really has, if they really have the right to be giving me the feedback. Um, and in the bottom line, it came down to was it was my book, and this is how I wanted to tell the story, and I would let the market decide. Okay, so let's back up now. I had just launched my first advertising campaign on Amazon, and it took off. 2 days after I had gotten that feedback in on how horrible my book hit Amazon's top 100 bestsellers list for women's adventure fiction. And it stayed there every single day for 2 years. For 2 years. And then I gave it away twice as a free book, and it hit number one on Amazon's free bestsellers list both times. As a matter of fact, last year I gave it away as part of a newsletter exchange with 11 other military romance authors, where we each take a month, and that month, that one author offers up a book for free on Amazon for 5 days, and the other authors all promoted in their newsletters. So they introduce a new author to their readers. So I did that in the month of, I think it was May, I had this year, and in 2022. And Operation Protected Angel hit number one on 3 different bestsellers lists for the free books, which was phenomenal. I have been truly blessed with my success, and that is thanks to you, the readers. I've said thank you many times, and it has been sincere and totally heartfelt. I'm so glad that you found my books. I'm so glad you've continued to read them. And I'm so glad you're watching this video, that you care what's going on behind the books that maybe have influenced Operation Protected Angel or the series in general. Um, I have 7 more books planned in the series as of right now, but I've always said that as long as you keep reading them, I will keep writing them. I do plan on taking just a short break from Shepherd Security. As many of you know, right now I'm in the process of writing something that would be more of a family drama, a book club type book. However, there is a link to the military in there, because military is something that I completely support from my husband serving 8 years. My father was active duty. My father-in-law was active duty. My grandfather was in World War II. So I have a really rich military tradition, including uncles, brother-in-laws, and so forth. But anyways, I plan on having this next book, the book club style or family drama style book, out. I'm hoping by April. I'm working on it right now. But after that, I will get right back to the Shepherd Security series with book number 14, which will be titled Operation Reluctant Angel. And it will be Laura Lee Saxon's story. She is the Echo Team engineer. She had a small role in book 12 and book 13 to introduce her to you a little bit more. So I hope that you will hang around for that. And I also hope that you will truly give my family drama book club style book a try. Here is the cover for it. It is entitled That First Year. I have it about a third of the way written already, and I'm very excited about it. I really like the way the story is developing. So we're going to wrap it up here. This is the end of the first video in Behind the Books. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really thank you for tuning in, and I truly, truly thank you for reading. If you found any value in this video, could I ask you to please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel? Leave me a message below in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it. And let me know if there's any other content that you'd like to see, anything else that you're wondering about. Please join me in the next episode of Behind the Books. Episode number 2, we'll talk about Operation Recruited Angel, which is book number 2 in the Shepherd Security series. That will be recorded and released in February of 2023. Until then, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.